When these children enter American classrooms, it is so important for educators to understand the traumas that they have been through and to address those traumas. These children have been traumatized in their home countries. Many of them have been threatened by narco cartels, threatened by gang members. They have experienced, many children I interviewed this summer in Honduras had personally witnessed several murders by the time they were 11, 14 years old. So they have experienced enormous violence and have lived with enormous violence and have post-traumatic stress just from what they've been through in their countries. I mean, I interviewed an 11-year-old boy who, in the 6th grade, his elementary school was controlled by the cartels. They would beat up children as they were coming out of elementary school. You were going to start using crack cocaine, get hooked on it, and start working for us. And he knew children who had been killed by the cartels for refusing this. So that's the trauma they faced before even leaving on this journey. What I saw were many children, like the boy I wrote about, Enrique, who in their quest to reach the United States, they have no money, they ride on top of freight trains up the length of Mexico, and they face bandits and corrupt cops and gangsters who control the train tops. They face getting on and off these moving freight trains because they're crossing Mexico illegally, so they can't get on as these trains are at the stations. And I saw children who had been robbed repeatedly, raped, had lost their arms and legs to that freight train, had lost their lives in this quest to reach the United States. It is a modern-day odyssey these children go on. Most don't make it through Mexico. Many are killed along the way trying to reach the United States. And then they face so many traumas when they arrive here. I mean, they face a new culture, a new language. They face the greatest hostility towards immigrants since the Great Depression. They worry that when their parents walk out the front door, we have increasingly deputized police departments around the country to serve as de facto immigration agents. And if their parents don't turn on their left turn signal or commit some crime, they could be pulled over, fingerprinted, and if they're not in the country legally, see their parents deported and never see their parents again. So these children have faced so many traumas, and they face the trauma of the separation of their parents, parents who they have not seen in 5, 10 years, sometimes even more. And they have this burning resentment, even hatred towards their mothers for leaving them for so long. They do not understand it. They say, "What happened? You told me you were coming right back or sending for me quickly, and you didn't." And so there are these huge conflicts in these homes. These women, parents feel, my child should be incredibly grateful for what I did for him. I lived without my child for 10 years. I worked 3 jobs so I could send money back so they could study and eat, study past the 3rd grade, which is all I was able to do. But these children throw this in their parents' faces and say, "You abandoned me." And so there are these huge conflicts in these homes. And so I think what is incredibly important is that educators understand what these children have been through and address these traumas head on. Until you address with psychologists in your schools, with counselors, this conflict in these homes, these children cannot focus on their studies. So I think, first of all, we need to get these kids and these parents some help so they come to some understanding about these separations. And I think that is the #1 thing that needs to be done.